Hi and welcome to the flip side. Today we're going to be going through our third tutorial in a series of Dashcode tutorials, and today we're going to be talking about the podcast widget, which is a template that you can make a very nice little podcast widget in Dashcode. Go ahead and select podcast widget. Once you have Dashcode up and running, choose that. You'll see a very nice template right here that shows a play button where you can play the podcast, title, episode name, and a drop-down list so you can change the episodes on the fly, episode data, and episode description. Now you'll also notice that on the back, if we run it here in a second, you can flip it over, and we'll have a very nice description in the back, along with a link to subscribe to the podcast. So that's also very nice. All in all, it's a very nice little widget, and it's highly customizable. So if you decide that you ever want to customize it, as far as changing the colors and everything, you can even change the size. You can move the play button pretty much anywhere you want to. It's no big deal. So as you can see, for the sake of time, we're just going to be sticking with this template. First thing we have to do is add your podcast properties. I'm going to paste the RSS feed for the flip side. You can see that you can have it auto update every 10 minutes, every hour, every day. Every 10 minutes may be very server intensive. Every hour, I would say okay. Every day is probably pretty good if you're not podcasting on a regular basis. So if you're doing a weekly podcast, having it check every day is fine. If you're doing a daily one, you might want to just choose every hour, every 10 minutes, but every 10 minutes does seem to be very server intensive. So depending on the popularity of your widget, you may need to adjust those to meet your server needs. Now you also notice up here that we have to add a widget identifier, which we haven't done yet. So we're going to just call this flip side. And this is, of course, version 1.0. All the other things that you shouldn't have to worry about at this moment, we can go ahead and mark that as done. The next thing we have to do is set attributes. And you can see, provide an identifier, which we've already done right here. Boom. That's something we should just get in the habit of doing, going ahead and adding an identifier first thing right out of the gate, just because it's important and it's required. Okay, so that's done, and we can collapse these. And then the next thing is, of course, default image preview. We can see that this is the default image. We can drag a new image in if we'd like. You notice that the play button is not part of the default image, so you can actually move the play button around. So this default image, um, if you like it, don't really change it all that much, but you can open it in an external editor and regenerate it, import something into it, all that fun stuff. So I'm going to see if we can import the Flipside logo. Let's see here. Uh, 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 uh. Album art. The Flipside. We'll go with a smaller version of it. And now if you import a photo, it's going to not place it over the uh, original one like normally you would see in the icon, but actually replace it. So we don't want to do that. Apple Z to undo. Okay, so there's nothing we can do here. So we're going to mark that as done. Design widget icon, which we want to do. And go ahead and try to place again that. There we go, and that placed very nicely. Okay, very nice. We can mark that as done, right like that. Test and share. Test and share. So let's run it and see if it actually grabs the RSS feed. Now here it says my podcast. Oh, there we go. We got our podcast. Now it's not going to grab the title from your podcast, but it will grab the different episodes that we have. So right now we have a few episodes here, and you can see those. Also, every time I choose an episode, you can flip it over, you can see a nice little description of that episode, as you can see here. Again, subscribe to podcast on the back, and play. So welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about creating the countdown widget. Okay, so again, very nice widget. We want to add a title though, so we're going to stop the test. We're going to double click where it says My Podcast, and we're going to put the flip side. There we go, done. And now it's fully customized as far as using the built-in template. Now the coolest thing, and you probably noticed this, the episode that we tested out was in fact a MP4 video podcast, but it actually just extracted the audio and played that instead. So again, there is no video podcast widget or video podcast template, but this is a really great way to make a podcast widget. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to email me at john@widgetshow.com, and I will catch you all next time on the flip side.